What is up, everybody? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. We're going to be taking apart my Predator V4. Let's get into it. All right, guys, should be a fun one today that we're going to try to take this one apart. My only reprieve is it looks like they have this to where you can take the standoffs apart. So I'm hoping that will make it a little bit easier. And I'm thinking this back screw probably goes into... Actually, it might just cover the scale to remove it, but let's find out. I think everything's T8. Yeah, this is all T8 hardware on the outside at the very least. So let's start by taking off the pocket clip because I just need to see if anything at all is underneath of it. Thank you, CMB, for not using thread locker here or over tightening these. Are these steel? Let's try to... Yeah, they're steel. They are definitely, yeah, definitely steel. So all steel hardware, which will keep from stripping it. There is a little bit of thread locker in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. See the blue on there? A little bit of thread locker, and it is on the actual steel liner on the inside. Let's go ahead and remove the top screw here. The other side is spinning, and then we will proceed with the actual pivot screw. All right, and let's see, does scale just pop off? Scale pops off. Perfect. Very nice. Three-way adjustable. Good job, CMB, putting that on the middle. Now, the thing that we need to see here, this should not be too tight. Yeah, it should be just tight enough for the cover switch to come off. Very nice. Very nice job. CMB doing great work here with the crossbar lock. I have never seen this before, but there's a guide screw on the back here as well. I love to see that. And that spring is pretty strong. Pretty strong spring. I don't know if I'm going to... Spring is pretty dry. Looks like I may have to potentially remove the entire crossbar lock. So let's go ahead. Yeah, that screw needs to come out. That screw needs to come out, and we need to remove the pivot as well. Take the pivot out. No, we'll scratch up the finish. Take this pivot out, take those out. So very interesting. These might be 6mm. I am curious. Let me grab. I was like, I know I have one in here. I bought a second one, so I don't have to pull it out when I am not replacing the skiffs, and I will not be on this. But this looks like a 6mm pivot. It is 100% 6mm and 364 ball. Yep, 6mm 364. If you do want to put skiffs on there, and with it being stamped, I completely understand that. It is interesting. They have the bearing facing outward. Normally, I like the pockets to be facing inward. This one should be for the scale screw. I'll set this one here. This one's going to be going into the steel liner. You don't need to work your tab out unless you're trying to flip this, and in that case I would recommend taking this all the way off. This was already loose. Those together. This should now just come right off, and there's no lube on there. And honestly, I would remove the Omega spring from the middle. I'm not going to adjust that. Lord have mercy, that spring is tight. And then you could just from here, think if it'll let you. Oh, the guide screw. Okay. You are going to have to remove that. I was going to say slide it back and just pull it out from the one side, but that guide screw is going to, I'm going to put that over here with this one. Like that. And then we'll go ahead and will it not slide all the way down? What's it getting caught on? What's it getting caught on? Is it the Omega Spring? No. Be the Omega Spring. Is it? Let's see here. I know you guys are probably like, I am never buying a crossbar lock. I never want to have to take it apart. I will say, if you just need to service it from that perspective, it's truly not that much of a challenge. This is new. I've never seen that. It looks like that goes on the inside. Okay. Wow. This is very well engineered. I like this a lot. Okay. From here, just making sure I'm not missing any screws. Trying to wiggle it apart. Very, very tight. You can see it already started a track on the liner as well. So that's like another reason that I'm not going to swap these bearings out. I've been carrying it a lot and the track is already kind of worn into the side there. So I really just want to keep that track the same. I don't want to mess up and get like two opposing tracks going. But man, that build quality is really nice. And I'm pretty sure that back spacer, yeah, is titanium. Yeah. All right. Let's finish cleaning everything off. And then we'll get this all back together. It's always a little bit of a pain going through it the first time, but I like doing this so that if you picked one of these up and want to take them apart, you kind of get to see in advance what to expect. And I don't even know that people really watch the reassembly, but I always watch it all the way through just in case there's any kind of unexpected issues that you may run into. So I'm trying to watch my mega springs there to make sure I don't snag them with my cloth. The captive pivot is all the way through captive, and standoff is captive specific. So you want this part being the last part that goes together. All right, gonna go ahead and clean all that up. And then I am noticing internally it is milled out a little bit differently. So that is something you definitely want to pay attention to. This one is not. So that should make it relatively easy to go back together. I think I'm going to flip, if it'll let me. Try to flip that stop pin. I just cannot get good strength on it. So I'm actually going to grab my pliers. No name Knipex. There we go. Just make it a little bit easier to put it together from the other side. And I have found too, even though the tolerances are, pretty tight on these, that once you get everything going, as far as taking it apart, once you go to put it back in place, it doesn't seem like as much of a fight, which I do appreciate. Sorry about the silence, guys. I'm just making sure I'm like staying razor focused on my attention here. Yep. Should be able to get that on there pretty easily. Make sure that you are putting this facing out like so. And I would put the spar lock back on first, just because it's going to make it easier to get the spring on there. In hindsight, I'd probably say just I don't know. I guess you do gotta remove these to get them on there, right? And don't over tighten them. I didn't think you would need to, but you need to. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And, you know, just if you have any questions, because I know I'm being silent because I am concentrating, just shoot them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. I will summarize here in a minute when I finish getting this back together, but it took way longer than it needed to, if I'm being totally honest. That's too tight. Let's loosen that up a little. That feels good. Get this mofo together and get out of here. What do you guys say? No two crossbar locks are the same. That is for sure. For sure, for sure, for sure. I'll make sure I don't over tighten one side too fast so I can keep it centered. Dead center. No play. Action feels better. All right, well, that was interesting. So, real time, I'm at 55 minutes. I really had to take my time with this one. So the two cups, they need to face with the actual washer side facing the scales. One of them fell off and I got a little mixed up and it took me a minute to figure that out. Once you've done that, it's pretty straightforward on how you reassemble it. You do not need to remove the thumb studs until the scale is off. And honestly, I think if you took it all apart from one side, it'd probably be a little bit easier. You can take the screw and the washer and everything off so that you can get it disassembled from one side. I didn't realize that. It looked like it was one piece and I did not notice that until I got it apart. So it can be removed from one side. You take your external hardware off, remove it. Take your actual thumb crossbar lock stud out and pop off the actual thumb stud itself. Pop off your Omega spring to get it out of the way, and that little cap there that's on that end, when you start to pry it, it will pop off and you can get everything apart from one side. Wish I'd have known that going in, but that's why I do these disassemblies, so that you can see that, and then it'll be really easy to put it all back together from one side. You can over tighten these to where they don't move very freely. There is a sweet spot in there. I would recommend a little bit of thread locker there, and there's a very minimal amount of movement that needs to happen on all of these to get it to operate completely smooth. And I would just periodically from time to time check it, make sure it's not like too terribly loose to where you can move it by hand freely and easily. And once you've done that, you should be in a good place. Let me know if you have any questions about this one down in the comments below. Definitely took me a lot longer to get this one done than it has any other. And that, again, is just the unknown, not seeing anything beforehand, just jumping into it, trying to do it on my own. So hopefully you enjoyed the content. And if it helped you, a like would have really helped me and the channel with as much time as I've spent on this one here today. And your subscription and comments also help the algorithm. And absolutely, when you use links to buy anything that I used for the assembly disassembly today, along with the product itself, all those links, when you use them, really go a small way in helping the channel, but it does help regardless. That's it for me today. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Catch you on the next one. Goodbye.